The Mavimbela family in Dannhauser says Ikwezi Mining is continuing with their operation on their private land despite being requested to stop. Newzroom Afrika Silethiwe Ndlovu has been following the story and joins us now live with more details. Silethiwe, a very good morning to you. I believe the family says the situation has worsened from the last time we spoke to them.
Certainly, Katleho. That's the conversation that we had with the family earlier on. They do state that the situation has worsened. In fact, what we got from them earlier on when we had a conversation was that it seems as if last night they were heavily armed men on this private land that does belong to the Mavimbela family. In fact, right behind me, Katleho, you will see that it seems as if there's a new hole that is now being drilled. We are told that the situation last night was quite intense to the point where police had to intervene. We understand, however, that at this particular point, the individuals from that company that were on this land have now left for the time being. However, we understand that the machinery, however, that they are using for those activities does remain on this land. But I'm going to bring in the landowner to speak to us in terms of the recent developments. I know we spoke to your sister the last time we were here, but just talk to us about recent developments, especially what transpired yesterday.
Thank you very much, Sisi. What happened is that on Tuesday, the truck from the mine came again after they left from the last broadcast that was made. Without any notice, nobody came to the house to say, hey, we are back to continue what we are doing. But we saw a truck drilling the holes without any word being given to the family. Upon that, the community members came to find out what was happening. And the police intervened, but now I was told to come through to avail myself so that I can speak to the mine CLO, Community Liaison Officer, so that a decision will be made to find out what exactly is happening. I made my way to be here at the farm yesterday. I was here the whole day, but the gentleman who was supposed to meet me here did not pitch. You know, I was here waiting for them to find out, guys, what is happening? Can we get a detailed report of what is happening? But no one came from the mine. Instead, a group of security guys came through. One of them drove through the farm, not using the usual entrance that we use, like everyone. But he came through with additional security guards. They made a formation. They asked us to stand one side. They stand on the other side. All of them, more than 20 guys, having your shotgun, you know. And he instructed the guys that were drilling to continue because it doesn't need to get permission from the landowner. You know, he said, I can even phone you and tell you that I'm coming to drill. I don't have to get permission from you. So it was quite ugly, I must say, being a person who was born and bred, this is my home, for a group of security guys to come in here and threatened us. You know, I felt, you know, very, very, you know, I don't know what to say, you know. And these guys are telling me they are not in any discussion. We are going to continue. I need to drill 2 more holes, then I'm out of here. You see, so all of that, you know, it came very, it was very, very emotional for me.
I want to talk about the communication that has been happening between the Mavimbela family and Ikwezi Mining. Is there any communication that is happening? Are they trying to resolve the situation? When was the last time that you were in communication with them? Of course, you mentioned that he was supposed to meet you yesterday and he didn't. But just talk to me about the communication that has been happening, if any.
From the 16th of May, when they first gave us the piece of paper to sign, saying that they wanted to drill, I objected and said, you know, the piece of paper is a notification. We would like more information. You are telling us that you want to drill 4 holes. What is it exactly that you want to do? We wanted to understand the scope of work. For an example, since we get our water from the water table, we've got boreholes. If you are saying you're going to drill How far are you going down? Will that not affect the quality of water that we are using in the farm? So we wanted all of that. Once we are done doing what we are going to do, what rehabilitation plan do you have in place? You will have your guards here. What sort of ablution facilities do you have available for them? Where are they going to get water? At night, it's cold. You know, the guys that were here, they've got dogs. I've got goats. I've got sheep. What is happening to that? You see, I wanted a detailed plan of what is it that they were going to do so that we are able to cover ourselves to say, guys, you can do that, you can't do that. You know, this is a farm. You cannot just drive as you want. You know, there are certain roads that you need to access. But as it is now, everyone is just doing as they please. Yeah. Just to continue to answer your question, yes. I tried to phone the CLO to say, guys, wait a bit. We want to understand this. He agreed, and then he gave me his manager's phone number, whom I called and said, Mr. Ngwenya, wait a bit. We want to make sure that all these things are covered. But the response from him was that the drilling machine is hired. They are paying it a rate a day, so they cannot wait for me. They need to continue with this. You know, again, I availed myself yesterday so that I can try and understand what is happening, but no one came through from the mine.
From what I understand from the conversation and also the conversation that we had with your sister is that the family is still requesting for proper consultations to actually happen. But I just want to reflect on the statement that was forwarded to us by the company. They state that public consultation started taking place in 2010. Are you aware of that public consultation?
My sister, public consultation with the community and public consultation with the landowner, those things are two different things. If you have met the community in a hall somewhere, that cannot be a consultation with Mavimbelas as landowners. You know, we know they came years back, once or twice, but there was nothing written down. There was no agreement. There wasn't any consultation extensively to understand what our fears are, what sort of work they will be doing, to what extent are they going to be here for? So all those questions, we don't have answers for. Yes.
And maybe just a last one on my side briefly. Is this the first time that you are raising these concerns, or would you say that immediately after they gave that one-page notification, you immediately objected to them continuing with their operations?
I've made several attempts to speak to Mr. Sope, who is the CLO around here. I've made attempts to contact Mr. Ngwenya, whom he said is his line manager. So there's been a number of phone calls made to them to try and ask them to stop what they are doing. We are not disputing the mining right they say they have. But as a landowner, we wanted to have a deeper engagement so that we understand this is our livelihood. We want to know how far will this go, what is going to happen to the land so that we are on the same page with them.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. Katleho, that is the landowner, and I just want to show you once again where the operations were continuing, but that is the landowner that we just spoke to. We are going to be in conversation with Ikwezi Mining just a bit later on. They have stated that they will comment in terms of what is going on here, but from the statement that they've forwarded to us, and this is now on the 25th. On that statement, they do state that there's no blasting that is taking place on this property. Rather, they state that there's core drilling that is happening. Once again, they state that written and verbal notice was given to Bongiwe Mavimbela, and this would now be the landowner that was standing right next to Muzwandile, whom we just spoke to. However, the family is still standing on their word in terms of the fact that there was no consent that was given by the family for Ikwezi Mining to actually continue with their operations. So a bit later on, we are going to be in conversation with Ikwezi Mining, perhaps to dispel some of the allegations that have been raised. And at this point, the family also stating that they too are waiting for those engagements to actually happen.
Which will be very important. Silethiwe Ndlovu, thank you so much for bringing us this update out in Dannhauser, where a mining company is continuing to operate on a private land.